The body of work amassed by this multi-talented performer, entertainer, is outstanding. And sometimes you need a documentary of biographical proportions to prove it. And he does. Stallone, Frank, that is. That's the doc. Available on digital and VOD, video on demand. Singer, songwriter, musician, actor, entertainer, boxer. Yes, boxer. Frank Stallone has to be the most versatile in the Stallone family, maybe one of the most versatile in Hollywood. His brother became famous by playing a boxer on the big screen, but Frank actually boxed for real. Stallone, Frank, that is. Hey, Frank, thank you so much. How big of a boxing fan were you as a kid? And what was it like growing up?
Well, big boxing fan, because of, at that time was Muhammad Ali, Floyd Patterson, Sonny Liston, everything was going on there. So it was a pretty interesting time, Hey, do you remember a guy named John Huddy?
Oh, no, that doesn't ring a bell. Who is John?
Huddy, he used to be a reporter at the Miami Herald, I think, years ago. Huddy, Huddy. I guess
I knew more, Frank. I knew more of the sport ones. Tom Archdeacon was in sports. I didn't know too many of the entertainment writers, though. Howard Cohen. Howard Cohen is a guy that did a lot of entertainment.
Oh, yeah. Okay. Yeah, I remember there was a bunch of those guys out there when I lived in Florida in the old days.
Oh, whereabouts did you live?
I lived in Coconut Grove.
Oh, that's a great area to live. Oh, my gosh. Yeah.
When I lived there, it was just an artsy-fartsy town. It wasn't built up like it is now. It was just like little huts, little artists, and very quiet. Yeah, it's got built up a lot now since then.
Well, I'm wondering, Frank, did you ever visit the Fifth Street Gym, the famous Fifth Street Gym down in Miami?
Absolutely. Angelo was a good friend of mine, of course. I was down there quite a bit. Yeah, I actually worked out there a little bit. Oh, it was a great place.
When you met Muhammad Ali, just what was that like? And just the man that he is, not just a boxer.
It was interesting. I met him a few times. I met him I think the first time I met him was when we did Rocky III, because we filmed at his house. Like, when Rocky's like rich and lives, that was at Muhammad Ali's house in Hancock Park. And he was very nice. He's a lot bigger than people would think. He's big. He's not small at all. He's like 6'3", and he was like actually very, 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 very cool, very cool. And then he gave me we were up there, my brother and I, for the Holmes fight, which was a big thing at that point. And I was there hanging out with Angelo and Ali in the hotel room, and he gave me a pair of his trunks and he signed it to Frank Stallone, "Enjoy life. It's later than we think." Muhammad, which is actually pretty cool, because usually he would just sign his name, but he put it to my name and all, and I have him framed there in my hallway.
Muhammad Ali just meant so much to so many. And Angelo Dundee, what a great trainer, manager. Oh, my gosh. Hey, Frank, did you ever meet Angelo's brother, Chris?
Yes, absolutely. Yeah, because, I was a boxing historian, so I knew that Chris, started out managing, Ken Overland, Midget Walgas. They had all those guys. And I was a kind of idiot savant when it came to that. So I bring up names that they hadn't heard in years, and they loved it. They liked the idea of some young squirt, and I knew all this stuff about boxing history.
It was interesting because the way your career went toward the entertainment. But was there a point during that career, and I know you boxed some, that it was like, okay, I just want to be a professional boxer and I'm going to do that? I know you, in the documentary, you talked a lot about the entertainment, and you mentioned the boxing, showed some of that and all.
No, I think that, for the boxing thing, I think music was my thing. It was something that was good for me because I think it helped with my anxiety problems and things like that. It was good to go in there and beat stuff up, hit the bag. And there was a nice camaraderie in a boxing gym. It was kind of funny. I was like the only white guy in my gym. It was in Trenton, New Jersey. And, people would go, "Aren't you afraid?" I go, "Not really. Treat people like you want to be treated." I got along with everyone great. But it was a great experience because there is a certain camaraderie with boxers, because most come from, less than status backgrounds. I mean, kind of humble backgrounds. You don't see too many fighters that are world champions that graduated Yale, or Princeton. So it's kind of, so a lot of them are pretty humble people. And I just enjoyed it. But no, I had no delusions about being professional. That's a whole different, even though I trained hard, but if I had the same capabilities I had in boxing as I did in singing, yes. But if I didn't, no way. Because most of those guys that fight, a lot of them are just born fighters. They're born to do it.
And did boxing more or less then just help you deal with life? Did boxing give you any life lessons?
Oh, yes, it did. The thing about, you got to get up early in the morning and do your road work. You got to be able to take a punch and not be a little crying bitch. You got to be, you got to take it like a man. You got to go in there and win, lose, or draw. You do your best. But the thing is, said, were you nervous before going to the ring? I said, everyone is. I said, when are you not nervous? He goes, when you're walking to the ring, because it's too late now. You might as well get your stuff together, because there's no turning back now. And you just go in and do the best you can. You try. But some people, a lot of my friends are world champions. Some of them are just such gifted athletes. They're born with natural speed, and they just, it's the thing. It's like, you can't teach someone like Michael Jordan how to play basketball. It's in their DNA, man. Or like Tom Brady. It's just in his DNA. Of course, I got to tell you, I love the Super Bowl. I didn't watch football all season. I only watched the 3 games, the one against New Orleans and the one against the Packers and Super Bowl, because I'm a Tom Brady fan. He's a friend of the family. And I don't like Belichick and I don't like Kraft. So I was really happy to see them really crying in their beer. Because
it's amazing. It's amazing what he's been able, even without the Super Bowl with Tampa, without it, it's amazing to see what he's done in his career.
When they go, I said, well, Bill Belichick wasn't out there calling audibles and calling plays. Tom Brady was at 43. And so it's Tom Brady. He's a very much of an overachiever, and he's very competitive. It's him. He's the one that does the self-help on himself off season. And it just goes to show. Why do you think Gronkowski came out of retirement? Because he wanted to be with his guy. And I'm sure Edelman's sitting there going, oh, shit, I would love to have been on that team. They stuck on a lousy team now. No one cares.
Yeah, you didn't see Gronk going to Belichick in New England. That's a good point.
No, and he was retired. He said, retired. I want to go with my boy. And how about Gronk won the Super Bowl? All the injuries he's had, he came back for his friend, and they won the Super Bowl.
And he caught 2 touchdown passes in the Super Bowl.
How about Kelsey got shut down? And he's a great receiver. Shut down.
They were, we could talk football for a while, and we won't, but offensively, nobody's been able to shut down Kansas City in 2 seasons. And that defensive line for Tampa, and that defense was amazing too.
And Mahomes is a class guy, and I got to give him credit. He walked up to Tom, he goes, you're a legend, man. He is a legend. And Mahomes has got all his career ahead of him. I wouldn't worry about him at all, besides a $300 million contract. He's not. He'll live.
And a Super Bowl. Hey, and a Super Bowl title for him, too. He won last year.
It's like, when I've gone to people's homes, like Richard Perry and all the same, and they got I've got a good amount of gold record. But they have ceiling to floor hallways filled. It's like, I went to Richie Sambora's, who's in the documentary. They've got platinum records, but it's 30 of them in one frame. It's nuts, 30 million, So I'm happy with my thing because, and Richie being in the documentary was kind of cool since I've known him forever. I've known him since he started, and it's kind of cool though, That's the whole thing about this documentary. I was really able to connect with some friends, and it was neat. It was kind of neat to do.
I'll tell you what, with that documentary, and I'm going to go back because I did watch it. It was amazing. It was so much fun to watch. I knew the ups and downs about Valentine, your group, and John Oates and Daryl Hall and their part in all this was just amazing. But, obviously, Sylvester Stallone, but Arnold Schwarzenegger, Billy D. Williams, Billy Zane, Talia Shire, Geraldo, who you boxed against, Geraldo Rivera, Danny Aiello, the great Danny Aiello, Burt Young, one of my favorites, Frankie Avalon. You mentioned Richie Sambora. It's just what a cast of people to have in your life and in your documentary. And Frank, everybody just seemed so respectful and just so open and honest and appreciative of your talents. And it was funny because Billy D. Williams said, Frank likes to talk.
Then Chris McDonald goes, oh, he can talk. Yeah, right. Yeah, great.
Oh, Chris from, I love Chris. When I saw Chris, I said, wait a minute, Happy Gilmore. Oh, man.
Yeah.
Shooter.
Stephen Bauer.
Stephen Bauer, Miami Vice. Oh, I had to talk to you about Miami Vice.
Yeah.
You mentioned Stephen Bauer was there. You were in part of an episode. You were in Miami Vice. What was that like being part of Miami Vice?
It was actually pretty cool. Stanley Tucci was in there. He was unknown. And it was actually great. I mean, Don was okay, but the other cast members are great. They were really nice. The whole, I think Don was a little affected to that point, going out with Babs and all that stuff like that. But I was, I was having a good time, man. I liked it. I liked working. And the funny thing is, I was staying in a hotel in Miami Beach that was actually where we lived. It was a condo. It was called the Season South. It's now called Alexander's. That's where we lived.
That's small world stuff. That's just small world stuff like that. Yeah. When you're getting into the acting and your singing was your number one, but Barfly, the acting that you did, even the acting, you sang and acted in Rocky. It's just amazing to see the things that you've been involved in, the projects you were involved in. When you're part of it like that, I mentioned Miami Vice. You mentioned Stephen Bauer, and just being a Miami guy with Stephen Bauer, that's what clicked with Miami Vice with me and Scarface. Oh yeah. I mean, when you're auditioning, like for Miami Vice, you're actually going for an audition. How did that all come about?
I actually, Jim, I kind of forget how it came about, but it was like I got offered a part. I don't know if I read for it or not. I might have, because I think it was kind of coming after Barfly, so they might have just offered it to me. But it was great to be in Florida. And just like the same old haunts. It was kind of interesting. It was like fun. It's great to be on a big show. Let's face it.
And Frank, that was a huge show back in the day during its time.
Monster show. And Don and those guys did a really good job. It was a great show. Great music, launched some musical careers for some people. So it was something for sure.
Well, Frank, I also have to ask you about Bill Conti. Oh my God. And he's on the doc as well.
Yes.
And the music he's done, the scores that he's done, movies with the Rocky, and even the Academy Award, different award ceremony shows that he's led the orchestra and all, just done so much. How was your relationship? And I know it's good, but I want to hear from you. What do you think about just Bill Conti? Did you collaborate with him at all in your music, either Rocky or other things?
Rocky 3, we did a song called Pushin'. First of all, Bill should have won the Academy Award for Rocky. How Gonna Fly Now did not win the Oscar. I have my own issues about the Academy Awards with my own song kind of ripped off. But how can you have a song from a movie that's been nominated for 10 Academy Awards and the same song in the same year, both #1 by two different artists? How can that not win the Academy Award? But Eminem wins for 8 Mile or 3-6 Mafia or The Omen, which is not even a song. It's just like Gargarian chants or whatever the hell they're called. So I look at Bill Conti. So I go, wait a second. We got Rocky here. It's nominated for 10 Academy Awards, wins Best Director and Best Picture and no actors. But doesn't the actors make it a Best Picture? And no music. So it won 3 out of 10, which to me is ridiculous. I think it should have won. To me, it could have won all 10, and I would have been happy with it.
I just think the music, just what he does, what you've done, what he's done, it's awesome. I love, and Take You Back. That is just one of my favorite songs ever. When I watch the Rocky movie, it's so Philly. It's just so Philly,
and it's so simple, Because Sly, when he mentions the documentary, I used to do that, sing, a cappella. Before the Beatles came out, it was, that's who it was. It was like, the Platters, the Skyliners, all those groups like Del Vikings. So that was what, coming to my home. And you'd sing. It wasn't like today you sit home on your computer and sample. You had to go out and sing, man. You had to like do your thing, So it's a whole different circumstance. The kids have what they have today. What are you gonna do? That's their world, and that's what they do. But it was a lot different then. It's like it was more grassroots. It's like today, if football players in the NFL had to play with the helmets they played with in the 40s with no face mask, they wouldn't be that brave. They wouldn't be spearing each other in the head because that helmet would smash their face in. You know what I mean? So it's different. Like boxers fought with 4-ounce gloves with no mouth guards. And still, a punch is a punch is a punch. Getting hit in the head is getting hit in the head, no matter if they're 300 pounds or 250 pounds. So in my era, you sat there and you played in front of a tape recorder. There was no computers, and like a song is a song. I mean, a great song can be played on anything. Simple. The Beatles wrote all their songs on a guitar or a piano. So you could sit there and play Yesterday on guitar or Something or Michelle. You could play it on a kazoo and it still sounds good.
Dylan, Clapton, they wrote on napkins. They got something on a napkin. They take.
Yeah. George Gershwin. They wrote on whatever that was there, and that's to me the test of a great song. And I think in acting, when you look at guys like Peter O'Toole, but they could do everything. They could do funny. They could do serious. They could do Shakespeare. They were just all around like a Gary Oldman. He can do anything. And that's it. And I get a lot of people saying, oh, this is a great one. You'll like this, James. Your name is almost Stallone. Yeah.
Barcelona, Italian American Frank. Well, from Waterbury, Connecticut originally.
Yeah, if you put a T there, babe, you got it. No, but here's a really funny thing. A lot of these young songwriters and stuff, I mean, not movie makers, they'll come to me and go, hey man, I got a script. I go, that's great. You hear that every 5 minutes ago, and this is the greatest one. You think Rocky was good? That's what they tell me. This is how they're trying to sell me on doing the movie. You think Rocky was good? Yeah, I thought it was pretty good. And now, considering you've never done a movie in your life, yeah, okay, that's a good way to start this off. Insulting my brother. Hey, you think Rocky was good? Yeah. God, they do this stuff, and I don't know if they're aware or there's some kind of a blood clot in their brain or something. I mean, that's how you win and influence people. Hey, you think your brother's movie was good? Let me show you this piece of crap I have. I mean, it's unbelievable. It's just, I don't know. I don't know what, Hey,
they're no Tony Robbins, Frank.
Oh, no, they are not Tony Robbins. No, they're not. Select brain functions.
Oh, man. I'll tell you what, a few more things and I'll let you go. I appreciate this so much. Hey, you performed on, I'm so watching some of the things on the documentary, Dick Clark's American Bandstand. Far From Over. What a hit song you had from the Staying Alive. It also, I mean, come on, Merv Griffin's show, the Mike Douglas show, Joan Rivers, David Letterman. I mean, all these different shows that you've been on, and it brought back some memories for me as well. But just when you're looking back and look, hey, Frank, everybody has ups and downs. Yeah. But you've had so many ups. I mean, when you're looking back at it and even the documentary, just how do you look at the whole landscape of it now?
Well, it's interesting. It kind of like, when I saw the documentary, it was just like you seeing it. I mean, I saw it for the first time, so I didn't really know what the hell to expect, but it's a lot of things. But the two things I would have loved to have done, which I didn't do, I would have loved to have done the Johnny Carson show, Tonight Show, and I would have loved to have done Ed Sullivan. That would have been, I mean, Ed Sullivan was bigger than Johnny Carson. If you were on Sullivan, man, you were it, I mean, that was a make or break. But I would love to come around those eras when they had shows like the Smothers Brothers. And I mean, I was around them, but I would love to have been on like the Smothers Brothers or Laugh-In. That would have been great,
Laugh-In was Laughing was the kickstart to Saturday Night Live.
That was the great, and the funny thing about Laughing is all these famous people would come on. I mean, John Wayne, all these famous. Sinatra. I mean, Sinatra was on Soupy Sales and got hit with a pie. That's impossible. You would get whacked out for that if anyone else did it. They'd find you in the river with cement shoes on. No, there was a pie in Frank's face. But I mean, yeah. So, I mean, but Far From Over, basically, when I think back on it, I don't know if I was thinking of that at the time, maybe subconsciously. But Far From Over is totally autobiographical because at that point, I was 32 years old and things weren't happening like the Frankster wanted. So I'm going like, man, maybe it is, I am down, but I'm not going down that route. I'm saying, you know what? I'm not going there. Because I said, I'm going to fight this thing out. I'm going out on my shield. And that's what the song's about. So I think what happened when John Travolta, when John saw the movie, heard my music and stuff, I think what happened was that he kind of related to it because that's kind of what his character was trying to do in Saturday Night Fever. Tony Manero was just like some gavone in Saturday Night Fever. And then he wanted to like be something on Broadway and show who he was. And I think that's kind of related to where I was because I dedicated my whole life to music. It hadn't turned out like I would have liked to turn out, but I'm going out on my shield, and that's how I felt about it.
And Frank, do you have a personal, I don't know if it's Far From Over or something else, but do you have a personal favorite song that you've sung when I ask that question?
Yeah, I would say Far From Over and I would say probably Never Gonna Give You Up from Staying Alive, but also a song I wrote called Carry On. Now you have your favorites for different reasons. I mean, I think why the Staying Alive stuff sticks with me because it was a conscientious flow. The songs came quickly. There was like a stream of consciousness going on. I was in that mode. It's like when a guy's on a batting streak. I mean, all of a sudden, man, they're just on. Yeah, like you'll never see Joe 56 games DiMaggio. You're never gonna see that. Never. You're never gonna see 7 Super Bowls because they don't play that long anymore. And you don't have Joe DiMaggio's. You're never gonna have a Ted Williams again. And it's like. How do you get Ted Williams, Babe Ruth, their last up at bats, they hit home runs each? That's impossible. Like they're shot, they're old, and the last at bat, home run. See, that's special. That's divine intervention. There's something to that. How does Kobe, God rest his soul, 60 points his last game? Oh, come on, man. That's what I'm saying. There's a divinity to that. Just doesn't happen. I mean, the chance of 2 old guys hitting home runs out of the ballpark at their last at bat is impossible.
You mentioned Ted Williams, and he fought in the war. His career, he would have put up bigger numbers. Then it comes back. Babe Ruth is older, and he's playing for a long time, and he's able to do it. You can't teach that. And then you mentioned Kobe. They were losing that game. And the fourth quarter, he took over and brought him back. I remember that game.
Ted Williams, to me, is, even though he gives homage to Babe Ruth, which I do too, but remember, he did give up 6 years of his prime.
Yes.
6 years, and he was a fighter. So he went balls to the wall. He was also a Marine fighter pilot. So he wasn't like just a guy floating around. He was in the action. And I think he's, the Hank Aaron thing, you got to love Hank Aaron. But in my mind, he did play more games than Babe, right?
Yes.
See, to me, you can't do that. It's got to be the same amount of games. And also, Babe Ruth was playing with a dead ball and a 42-ounce bat. Hello. A ball that he used to hit that sometimes would knock the cover off. A ball that had been used for 4 innings. So it's like you're actually hitting a hand grenade with the 2x4 out of the ballpark. And people forget Babe Ruth was left-handed too. And the pitcher.
And the pitcher. Right. He was a great pitcher. He was a great pitcher before hitter.
Yeah. So how do you get a great pitcher become the greatest hitter in baseball history? It's impossible. And he trained on beer and hot dogs. Go figure. I mean, so there are people, I mean, I've gone on stage sometimes and to go, are you, a friend of mine, well, I'll leave nameless, but he was a Congressional Medal of Honor winner. And we were talking about it. He goes, how do you do that? I go, what, me? How do I do what I do? I mean, go on stage and sing. How'd you do? You just took out 3 machine gun nests. You're like, you did stuff that's incomprehensible. He goes, yeah, but I could never do what you do. I said, you couldn't go on stage and sing. He goes, no, I'd have a heart attack. I go, holy shit. So it just goes to show you, everyone has their thing. Here's a guy who's a Congressional Medal of Honor winner who did something beyond the call of duty. But here I am, like some schlepper going on stage with a guitar singing, and he's going, no, I could never do that, man. It's a real challenge. But to me, it's like a day in the office. It's the easiest thing in the world to do. But it's like when you see great athletes, you see them out there and go, they're just effortless. That's why they're great. When you see Tiger or these guys, Bubba Watson, it's their thing, man. We sit there and go, how are you going to get that ball to that green in 2 strokes? No, 1 stroke and then 2 strokes to get it in the cup. How you do that? And so you go like it's but they do it. They have the mind for it.
It's amazing. Everybody has a talent, and it's just trying to find that talent. And Frank, I want to ask you about 2 more people, and then I'll let you go. And I appreciate this so much.
Go ahead.
The pro wrestling. I write a lot of pro wrestling, and I guess you would talk to Booker T. I heard part of that radio spot you did.
I did Chris Jericho before you. He was a great guy, man. A great guy.
He's awesome. And Frank, you mentioned about that. The guy, I mean, people know his age. I'm not going to reveal it, but for his age, he's like you mentioned Ted Williams and Babe Ruth.
Yeah.
Jericho, for his age, is still at the top of his game. It's amazing.
No,
he still wrestles. He's just incredible.
No, he looks great. And the thing is, yeah, I was like, I'd probably be the worst wrestler when I did that stupid show, Hulk Hogan Celebrity Championship Wrestling. You forget, I was there with Nasty Knobs, who was my coach. And they just look like big fat guys. I said, but I'll tell you what, Jack, they can move and they're fast and they're strong and they can really hurt you if they want to, because they take a beating. I mean, I met what's his name? Oh God, Mick
Foley.
Yeah, he's like kind of heavy, pear-shaped looking guy. You would think just like kind of an overweight guy, but man, they're tough. I mean, the stuff he does, it's unbelievable. It would kill most people.
He and them, they know how to condition their bodies to work a match, to pace themselves. It's not balls to the wall right off the bat. They pace themselves. They get hurt. It's physical. Like you said, Mick Foley off a steel cage, he's falling. It was like, oh my God, is this guy alive? It's amazing.
Wasn't it on glass or something like that?
On like a table, but it was like, who knew that? Like I saw, but the table, it crashed through the table. It was just, and then through the cage. But things that they do, and you've been involved in
Hulk Hogan.
Hulk Hogan. I was going to bring up Hulk Hogan, Rocky III, Thunder Lips, and
something.
Paradise Alley. How about Paradise Alley?
That was great. Like
Terry Funk.
Oh, he was the best. Shut your hole, you freak. But he's from the old school. He's from like the Freddie Blassie, you know what I mean? Golden Boy.
Yes, classy Freddie Blassie, of course. I was going to ask you, Frank, did you watch growing up? Did you watch the wrestling?
Of course. Yeah, Ray Morgan, I watched it. I mean, of course, Arnold Skolnick, Nature Boy Buddy Rogers, Antonio Bobo Brazil, Killer Kowalski, Hans and Max Mortier. And then you have, it's so ridiculous. The Kentuckians, they come in like a powder horn and a coonskin. They're nuts. But see, it was so primitive then, because people mostly that watched it were like kind of carnies. I mean, it wasn't like highbrow. It was like, oh yeah, these guys who like, the greatest was, the last of the real primitives were like Sergeant Slaughter and the Iron Sheik. Because he's about as much of a sergeant as I am, But the thing is, they're so fun. It's high comedy, it's high drama, but Paradise Alley, man, if you don't think those guys get hurt, you are, man, they got broken bones, broken knee. Hardly any of them can walk. I mean, you
talk about Terry Funk. Talk about Terry Funk a little bit more, if you can, and just what a character. He's been in several movies.
Oh, he's great, man, because, you know, he's born into wrestling. His father, Dory Funk Sr., his brother, Dory Funk. So he's just country strong. They don't have a bodybuilder's body. Now they do. But in those days, they're just strong. And now I was talking to Hulk when he did Rocky III. He goes, realistically, nobody could be an Andre. Nobody. He goes, I know he looks fat, but he is so strong. You can't move him. He goes, he broke my ribs just swatting me. And he goes, I was 305 pounds, 6'8". So when we were doing the thing, I needed money in those days. I was kind of my brother's stand-in on Rocky III. So I wanted to do, I said, man, I'll get like $4,000 to watch him pick me up and throw me into the stands. The stunt guy goes, you know, Frank, you could lose an eye. I go, what? He goes, yeah, your face could hit one of the chairs. And I said, Sly, you're not going to let him do that backbreaker, are you? Are you crazy? Like when he takes him down? I mean, if he wasn't a good wrestler, he could snap your spine in half. I go, you know how stupid that was for you to do? I mean, or when he comes down like that? I mean, it only takes not much. I mean, if you're off, you can get your neck broken. A lot of them do.
Well, Frank, did you get in the ring with Hulk then?
Are you crazy? No, the stunt guy, my brother goes, no, get out of here. You're not doing this. No, but I mean, I could have gotten seriously hurt. I mean, I'm not a stunt person, but
no, right.
The thing is, and the stunt guys weren't happy about it because that's what they do for a living. And Sly goes, you know, if I was smarter in the old days, I would have let more of the stunt guys do the stunts than me because I paid for it now. But I mean, you know, watching Nasty Knobs and Brutus Beefcake, who are on the Hulk Hogan Celebrity Championship Wrestling, I'm telling you, man, these guys. So I figured I'm going to grab Dennis Rodman and beat his ass. So I see him across the ring. I guess skinny guy. I'm going to hit him with a body shot coming in. He picked me up like I was a fly and just like threw me like a gnat. I go, Jesus Christ. I go, I can't believe this happened to him. And Sly goes, Frank, he's one of the greatest rebounders in basketball history. He's used to throwing guys around that are monsters, like you know, huge. You're like nothing. Well, you're like a rock musician. What, are you kidding me? Pick me up, like toss me. And then I realized he's like a professional wrestler. He went on tour with the WWE in those days. And I'm there like, man. But, you know, like when Knobs would say, I said, you ain't touching me, man. Forget about it. Nasty Knobs, they look like they're fat, but they're big, strong, and they can move. I mean, when you see them do a big overweight guy do a backflip off the top rope or a guy clotheslines him, if you don't know what you're doing, you get killed. So they're big. Yeah, they're big, burly, tough guys. They're big, burly, tough guys. Yeah, you would not want to meet them in a bar fight like Dick the Bruiser in the old days. They clean out a bar. They grab you like, you know. I remember I was there with the guy that fought Mike Tyson. Oh, the Irish guy on his comeback from Boston, Kevin McNeely. Okay, he's a broady Irish guy, you know, looks kind of like, you know, nothing. But he went to fight Tyson. He went for it. He got knocked out, but he went for it. So I'm in a bar in Boston, right? And he's there at the bar. He's probably about 240. Very affable guy, nice guy. So, hey, it's Frank Stallone. Hey, Frank, how are you doing there? Yeah. And I hear some other guys going, he don't look that tough. He looks kind of fat. And I'm going, he would literally knock everyone out in this bar at one time. He's a professional fighter. He's a heavyweight fighter. You're like a bad accountant. He'd kill you. You crazy? I'm serious. I mean, you get a guy like Mick Foley or any of that, they would break you in half. You would never. First of all, you couldn't hurt him. Or like a Ray. Right, they're trained too. That if like that, somebody wants to test their machismo on them, they take care of themselves. They know exactly what to do and just how to break a person and all. So I don't know why people keep doing it, but they would just grab you and just like, I mean, it'd be a joke. It's like, you know, so I think people have to know sometimes the liquor talks for people. Thank God I'm musician, they might say, "Hey, I don't like your record," but at least I'm not going to get my ass whipped. But I mean, it's but I'm really happy. I'm really happy, Jim, with the documentary. I'm very happy with it. I mean, and my thing is for this, I hope something good comes out of it for people. I hope people walk away with something they can take from the movie that they can remember. That yes, it is a hard road, but it's a great life. I mean, I've had a wonderful time traveling and meeting people, and doing stuff like that. So there's a lot of good in it. So, but it's a long road. It's like like the Beatles, the long and winding road. It is a long and winding road, and it's not for everybody. It's not. It's just not for everybody.
Well, Frank, if a person is just success, and doesn't have any downfalls, how can you enjoy the success when you don't know what the downfalls are like?
No, you can't. You can't really. You can't. And the thing is, Arnold. Arnold and I are good friends. Obviously, he's in the movie.
He's in the documentary, working out with them a little bit too.
Yeah, get it, babe. Do it, yeah. So, but here's the thing with him, and he's very philosophical when it comes to certain things. He goes, "If you're afraid to fail, you'll never succeed. You can't, because you're afraid to take the shot. You'll never take the shot." You know what I mean? So if everything is safety first, whoa, I don't want to risk that. You're just going to stay where you are. You got to risk it. I mean, you don't think these athletes, they put it on the line. These fighters, they go, this is what they do for a living, and they're going for it, man. They're not going to sit there and punk out. But listen, Joe Louis got knocked out by Max Schmeling. He came back to be one of the great heavyweights. Muhammad Ali got his ass kicked by Joe Frazier in their first fight, and he came back. Sugar Ray Leonard got beaten by Duran. He came back. Tommy Hearns got knocked out by Hagler, but he came back. You have to have. It's like I don't want to coin a phrase, but my brother's in Rocky Balboa when he says, "It's not about how hard you get hit. It's about how hard you get hit and keep coming forward, coming back." And that's what it's about. And some guys just won't be denied, man. They're going for it. And that's what you have to understand it in the music business too. They're coming, man. They're coming.
Well, Frank, you're still doing your thing today. You're still performing. You're out there. It's just great. And I want to thank you for taking the time. And I had two quick things to let you go because you've been so gracious with your time. And one is, you think in this day and age that we might be able to see, or maybe you have something already going on, I don't know, Frank Stallone, the Take You Back podcast?
You know what? I've been approached by it. A few people have been approached me about something like that. It'd be kind of fun. I mean, it's fun nowadays. You can just do it from your house, and you can go nationwide and talk to all kinds of people and all kinds of subjects. Yeah, that's a possibility for sure.
And I'm saying it, Frank, right here. Take You Back podcast, because you can take you back in time and go through all the things going on through your life, others' lives, and everything, and it just ties it all together. And lastly, Frank, your mom, your great mom, I got a chance to do a couple of interviews with her. She was involved in wrestling too. She was involved with Glow. Oh, Frank, right. Do you remember anything about the original Glow? Then it became a hit on Netflix later.
Well, not really, because I guess I was busy doing my own thing. But I remember she was involved with Glow and a guy named Hal Stone. She was always into something. She was doing the Silver Foxes, like Dustin Hoffman's father, with Richard Simmons doing this kind of. She was always into something. I mean, she passed away 2 months shy of 99. And before COVID, she was still driving at 98 years old. I took her down to get her license redone at 96. They go, "What, you nuts?" They looked at it and go, "This can't be right." I said, "Yeah, it is. That's the date." And she practiced her accordion every day. She practiced her piano every day. She always said, "Frank, every day is a struggle when you get to my age." I go, "Yeah," but she would get up for it. And she was not, I got to say one thing, she was not feeble-minded at all. Matter of fact, her memory was better than mine. She was sharper than I am. She was not feeble at all. And she went in her sleep like she wanted to. She wasn't sick. She wasn't, anything. But she always said, "Son, if I go, I want to go in my sleep." And she went peacefully. So can't ask more than that. And the thing is, she lives on in more, she's immortal now in my movie. I'm just sad she didn't get to see it, but you know what? She's probably upstairs looking down, breaking my balls. But what can I tell you?
Hey, Frank, she didn't see it. She lived it.
Yeah, she did live it, buddy. You're right. She did live it. If it wasn't for her, there'd be no Rocky. There'd be no Frankie. We wouldn't be having this conversation. So, but you know what? My father made it a month short of 92. My mother like a month and a half short of 99. It's a pretty good run. Not a bad run.
Awesome run. Please.
Yeah, she lived
well,
good.
Stallone, Frank, that is. You guys got to check out this documentary. It's just it's up and down, but it's fun and it's informative, interesting, and it's perseverance. And it is inspiring too, Frank. And I'll let you have the last word. Anything else you'd like to say to anybody that'll read this and listen to it or watch this?
Yeah, I mean, I just hope I hope people get something out of this to take with them, whether if they're going in my line of work or whatever they're going to go into. And I do, on my Instagram, I do return messages. It's Frank.Stallone. And I do stay in contact with my fans because I've discovered some amazing things on the internet. People that you thought you would never hear from again, all of a sudden, they've been married for 35 years, and all of a sudden they go, hey, remember me in high school? And I go, wow, I was thinking about that person. So there's some magical things. And also I wanted to do a shout out. I have a guitar company called Frank Stallone Guitars, and you can go there, frankstalloneguitars.com. And what we do is we are doing guitars that are fantastic, but they're so well priced. They're within anyone's budget. It's 100% guarantee, and they're really cool guitars. I mean, I play them.
Frank, I was going to ask you that. I know I was going to give you the last word, but now you mentioned that. Is that one of the guitars in the background or no?
No, that's an old Fender Telecaster. That's I actually probably should put one of mine in the background, considering I'm talking about them. Yeah. Yeah.
I'll look it up too. I will look it up too. And maybe I'll find a picture of it and I can put it on there with the story that we have on there too, digital. I'll do that. And then real quick, I have to wrap this up. You've spent so much time. What do we got sort of in the background there? And then we'll wrap it up. And then we'll end it. But I was just curious.
Well, I just got those miniature guitars up there, and I've got that's an Italian Sarisi Canzoni. That's a cat. That's from a word from Italy. And there's just some musical words and things like that. And then, just different little things. And I have knickknacks everywhere.
How about the gold record, Frank?
Oh, let's see, where are we at? Yeah, we got some of them over there on the wall. Yeah.
Far from over?
Yeah, we got them. We got them, man. And they're fun.
All right, Frank.
James, thank you so much, my brother.
Thank you, sir. I appreciate this so much. It was an honor and a pleasure. I appreciate it.
Well, anytime, man.
All right, brother.
Thanks, Jim. Take care, buddy. Bye.
Thanks.